Identity with Tayameaca. Hello and welcome to another episode of Explore Your Identity. Here we delve into conversations about different aspects of our identity, both positive and negative, that have influenced who we are today. I am your host, Tayameaca, and I'm thrilled to have another incredible guest with me here today. A big thank you to Dionne DaCosta for being here today. Welcome, Dionne. How are you doing today?
Hi, Taya. Thank you so much for inviting me along. I'm looking forward to this podcast. I've seen so many inspirational women on here in the last
few months.
Thank
you.
And you're doing really well. Amazing. Thank you for bringing me on.
And thank you for allowing this conversation. So I always like to start with a little bit about your background, just to give our listeners and audience context and into your identity. We are an identity podcast after all. So in a few words, how would you describe any particular memory or instance in your childhood that you feel has influenced the Dionne that I know now and love?
Oh, thank you, darling. I think that one of the most vivid memory that I have as a child is my mum throwing me onto a stage when I was like 4 years old. And I sang, she said, you can do it. And there was a big crowd and we were in Southport or some kind of old school, they used to have like fun days, like very British fun days. And they were trying to get someone from the audience and she nominated me and I was shy. And she said, you can do it. She was like, good at building my confidence, really. And she pushed me onto the stage and I got up in front of everyone and sang, and everybody was applauding and clapping. And I think that I've always been like a confident person. And, that's one of the memories that stands up and I love it.
So you can sing as well as design beautiful clothes?
Yeah, I am actually really a good singer, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Oh, yeah. Wow. And that's amazing that you can actually remember like something from like 4 years ago when you were 4. I haven't got any memories of that.
Years ago, but
at that age.
Discussing the age today. But so my childhood memory is a mix. I had a happy childhood, but come from a difficult background.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I come from a line of strong women who are advocates for mental health, like social tolerance and human rights. So I've had some good mentors in the family. There's quite a large family. My mum's been married a couple of times, so I think the modern families, they're not like what they used to be. It's not 2.4 children. So I've been quite lucky. I've got a culturally diverse family. I am mixed heritage, obviously. I've got Jamaican roots. And then I've got the English, British side. My mum got married a few times. So then there's also West Indian in the family as well. So yeah, Caribbean, West Indian and British. So my identity, I've explored that. I know all the family right down the English and British side, and also the black side as well, the black and the white side. I've been back to see where my grandparents were born in Jamaica, and that was a poignant experience. That was like really, really. It made me sad and happy at the same time.
And growing up in Liverpool, was your experience more of a black experience, a mixed experience, or was it as diverse as your family?
Well, this is it. You see, it's like, it's like we're I'm brown. Do you know what I mean? And like, why, when I was growing up, back when, in the 70s and 80s, there wasn't this equality box what you have now. There was no mixed race, no brown, no nothing like that. It was like you were either black or white. So then where did we fit in? Do you know what I mean?
And did you question that on a personal level, or?
I was always taught and to be proud of who I am.
Okay. So you just accepted that, yeah, I'm black.
No, I pardon.
You just accepted, like, I was looking at it more in the context of, like, say, filling out a form. You just went for that option.
Well, I wasn't have to fill forms out when I was a little girl, but my mum always made me aware of the social side of things and about equality, diversity and inclusion from a very young age. I was quite happy in my own skin.
Yes.
Because I've got the best of both worlds.
And who gave you that confidence within the family?
I think confidence comes from within. Even though you've got like outside influences. As I explained before, my mum used to like, she's an advocate for self-confidence. And if anybody was like, challenging my colour, or she'd send me back out into the streets, actually.
Was she? Yeah. Wow. And say, sounds like a strong woman.
You're not coming back in until you've dealt with this, because you know that I've got to go through life and face adversity. Unfortunately, because of the way that society is at the moment with, this diversity, people need to be more culturally competent. If we cut our finger, we all bleed one colour, don't we? I'm all about love and peace, but some people are at war with themselves and their ideals, and unfortunately they will project their feelings onto others, which is really difficult.
And growing up in Liverpool, did you face a lot of that? Or
growing up in Liverpool was fantastic. I come from a family where I spent a lot of time in the north and the south side of the city. So I've got some excellent childhood memories. I grew up in the hip hop era as well.
Oh, nice.
Where, so, it was all about music and fashion and people coming together really, to celebrate the modern culture. So there was a lot of us, from Toxteth. I mean, I didn't grow up in Toxteth, but I was there all the time due to family connections.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I ended up moving there, but everybody was great. We all used to get along brilliant.
What age were you when you went to your first rave?
My first rave, I put
was
the raves on.
Was it day or night?
We put the raves on. We were the rave. Seriously.
Yeah. Tell me
more. We put the raves on in Liverpool back then.
Was it like a house rave, or you'd have a venue, or what was it like?
One of my family members was, he got, there was warehouse parties, but Carl Williams, he died now, he put the first rave on in Liverpool.
And was it a night one or day one?
It was a night rave, and it was in a club, but he tired out, but there was illegal ones as well. Where people would just go to the beach or, and set up. It's a bit like what happens now when we were all the pioneers for it back then. But we grew up in a society where Thatcher was in charge, and it was a really tough time for the people of Liverpool. People were getting laid off from work, and there was a recession the Tories were in, and there was a lot of people. We were going through similar things as to say, with the crises for food shortages, and there was the Dockers movement as well. So it was really tough growing up. So people just all clubbed together what they could, and
I know you as an amazing award-winning, actually, fashion designer. Yes. So what was fashion like? Did you create your own rave outfits, or what was it like for you?
I think with me, from an early age, I didn't follow the mainstream fashion. I had my own. I liked things that were from different eras. Yeah. So my great auntie and my grandma, they had they kept their clothes. So they had clothes from when they were in their 20s. So 1940s really cut suits.
Nice.
Beautiful suits made of gorgeous fabric, stuff from the 50s to 60s. fronted rhinestone tops with all kinds of embroidery.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So what I
Wow.
would do is I'd make a little bit myself, then I'd buy some mainstream clothes, and then I'd go and read. Everybody used to copy me all the time. To be honest, like all my friends used to copy what I'd wear. So I used to think, and they can't copy something that's vintage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What age were you when you started sewing?
Oh, wow. My mum is a fashion designer.
Oh, wow.
And she...
Amazing.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Linda, she's cool. And she used to do all the sketches, and I'd come over and see what she was doing, you know. And she put me on the sewing machine when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And taught me how to sew.
Yeah.
So that's where my love of fashion comes from my mum. And she always wore amazing outfits, and I used to go and dress up with everyone's clothes. I loved it. I did get into trouble one time because I used the wardrobe as my own fabric shop with a pair of scissors mischievously.
How old were you then?
I must have only been about 4 or 5, and I went with my scissors and, you know, cut some fabric to dress me Barbie dolls up, you know what I mean? So, you know,
so
that's a memory.
Yeah, you've definitely always had that fashion in you.
Yeah, I got into trouble when somebody went to go and put a dress on. There was like a Barbie-sized hole in it.
Oh, that is sweet. Obviously not so sweet for whoever the wardrobe belonged to. Oh, so currently, what are you up to? What's Dionne up to? I know we have conversations along the way, since we both have a passion for fashion, and what have you been up to lately?
I mean, to me, fashion is fun. I don't really take it too seriously, to be honest.
You do have fun with it.
I love
seeing your London Fashion Week runway and all that stuff you do.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've done quite well, really. I've got the British Fashion Council to showcase, and, like, you know, that was a huge achievement for me, really, because, you know, that it means a lot, doesn't it, to go on to the main schedule.
That's
on the
amazing.
Books.
Yeah.
And all the challenges I've faced in the last years, you know, I've ended up in abusive relationships, and I've had to stay up by myself just so that I could just be grounded and focused. And I've had so many people trying to stop me. It's been horrendous. But when I was, for instance, you know, while I was preparing to showcase at London Fashion Week for the British Fashion Council, I was falsely accused of antisocial behaviour after retaliated. I was being retaliatory harassed after I'd reported racism.
By who?
By an organisation in Liverpool. And they made an application to falsely commit me to prison based upon malicious allegations against me, which I fought very hard to clear my name. And I ended up showing that there'd been racial antisocial behaviour service failure, and managed to get the housing policies changed. You know, I am quite, like, I come from a strong family of women.
So when you say you had the policy change, that's like with the ombudsman?
Yes, what I did was, like, I had to show that there'd been, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just
so
it's
what
racism.
Does service failure mean?
It means that you're getting othered and you're not getting treated the same as other people who are, you know, white, basically. Or who don't share a protected characteristics which you possess, which I'm disabled as well. I've got, like, a mental health condition. So I was, like, told I couldn't report any antisocial behaviour or racism, and excluded from communication. So while I was trying to, you know, live in peace and harmony and get on with my own life and my own business,
would that have been like
basically.
the police stopping you from reporting crime, or?
No, the police actually provided me with a letter, which I've brought today, which showed that I've been getting racially targeted, which I provided to the organisation, and they just didn't even acknowledge it. So what I did was I thought, right, okay, I need to make a difference here. And the reason that I ended up where I live, because I lived in the city centre, and when I was a little girl, I used to go to church all the time. And
sing. Did you sing in
yeah,
church?
I used to love singing in church.
Mhm.
So basically the church was called Christ Church.
Oh,
And I
yes.
loved it.
I
And
remember.
yeah,
You
do you remember
told me
the
about
story?
Christchurch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the vicar was called Clary Hendricks. So I said to my mum, why were we always in the church? And she said, it was you, Dionne. You encouraged us all to go. You used to walk past the building every day and say, I want to go in that building. So the family ended up going to church. So, I was mentored by Clary. He was a South African man, and his wife, Sue. And they had loads of kids, and it was, I was there all the time. And then as I got older, I went off into the world, as you do, you know what I mean? And anyway, an opportunity came up years later, and it was called Christ Church.
Oh.
So I ended up going to this house. And when I was there, a lady came up and she said, oh, welcome to our neighbourhood. And I said, I took this property because it reminded me of when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
The vicar, it was Christ Church, and the vicar, Clary, and she said, no, that's here. And I said, well, it's a completely different area, And she said to me, well, actually, she went, Clary was the vicar. This used to be a church, and that's why it's called Christ Church. And she went in the house and got a photograph and brought it out and went, there's the vicar, and it was the same person. And I knew at that point, I felt like I was led by God to be there as a Christian, as a Christian person. It was too much of a coincidence. Do you know what I mean? I felt like it was maybe like a little bit of a soul mission. People who may not think, religiously or may not believe, but, I do believe, and I am a Christian. So,
and do you pray? Do you still pray?
Yeah,
now?
Of course, I still pray. But I faced so many challenges at that in that area, where I felt like the community had turned against me because of the actions of me trying to stand up for racism. And what happened is that I found out now that it's not just me. The organisation made me feel like that I was the only one. But the longer that I've lived there, I've become more of an advocate and a mentor for other people who have also faced these challenges. And then I ended up, with the help of the Ombudsman.
Yes.
And I'd encourage everyone, to come forward and use the Housing Ombudsman. But we managed to get some policy changes.
That's
and
amazing.
Then I ended up with a positive role model board for race, faith and religion. So, people were trying to stop me and just like to save my peace. But out of that, there's been positive changes in the community, and hopefully moving forward, people can be more accepting of each other.
Wow, that's amazing. I can see why you got the award, the National Diversity Award.
I received a certificate of achievement for a positive role model, not the award. I got a certificate of achievement, but I did receive multiple awards in 2022 and 2023 I reached the finals, and I've also won Best Fashion Designer 2018.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
I got the award for that one.
What's this one I saw on the table?
Oh, this one, yeah, this one is from the National Diversity Awards. So,
Certificate of Achievement.
Can you see that? Certificate of Achievement for a positive
role model award, race, religion, and faith. That's amazing.
So, I think.
Congratulations.
Thank you, love.
You deserve it. Like, it's so hard when you deal with issues regarding race or any special characteristics, and so often, from my own experiences anyway, people tend to just brush it under the carpet and not pursue it. And for you to have been able to stand your ground and get policy changed is such a massive achievement. So well done.
Thank you.
Because what you've done is making life better, not just for yourself, but for people that will come after you. So that's amazing.
It was really difficult to navigate through all because I do have mental health conditions, which, it really affects my day-to-day ability to
So how
function.
have you been able to do all that?
I just felt it. I felt I had to, as I say, with being a Christian person, I didn't land in that area for no reason. When the background story of it, and to be honest, it has made me a target. I have been threatened to not continue, and I had to push on, and I felt back to where I felt like I had to pursue to stand up for all of our rights, not just mine.
Yes.
And it's led to litigation where they're trying to give me a big bill for standing up for myself, like thousands and thousands of pounds, which they've been found sort of, guilty basically of these racial service failures.
Wow.
So, I'm just pushing through the best I can. I'm not legally trained, but
so you went through all that on your own?
No, with God.
Wow, amazing.
God and Jesus on my side.
That is so much strength.
God
that is so much strength. Wow, well done.
And my angels and my spirit team and my ancestors. I'm a spiritual person.
What's next?
Well, what I did was I thought I'd love to be able to help anyone else going through this. My son's a social researcher with a background in anthropology.
Yes.
So he's really good at putting together summary reports for organisations and cultural competence training for organisations. So because of what's happened to me, I've decided that, I'd love to be able to move forward and help others and provide those packages.
Yes.
If anyone wants any help as well with how to... The system's designed for us to fail if we're facing discrimination. There's so many different signposts and organisations, and they send you down the wrong path, and you're going round and round in loops. So if anybody needs any help, then just come and see me.
And how can people connect with you?
Well, obviously you're going to leave some details on the podcast.
Yes.
And
they can always ask me.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But I think I've done quite a lot with a lot of work in television and fashion as well. I've been out to Africa and lived with the tribe as well, the Jimwanzee tribe.
Oh wow!
And they're quite strong people.
Have you got photos with them? Amazing.
It's a TV series was done about that, but they taught me to go out and live on the land and hunt and forage and gather.
Wow.
So
I couldn't do it. I can't even do camping.
Yeah.
I could attempt glamping, but try and live with a tribe in Africa. And I'm from Africa. I can't do that. Sorry.
It was
You're
really
stronger
hard.
than me.
It was hard. There was lions and hyenas everywhere, and scorpions and snakes.
There's no way I'd slip in the jungle a day in my life. No way. Yeah. So well done.
But they taught me how to forage from the land as well, and they have no cancers and things like that, there's really low obesity rate. So moving forward, what for me next is that, I am really into holistic practitioner, holistic therapy.
I think I'm going to have to get you back and we'll have another conversation and we can talk more about the wellness and,
Well, this is why the part of this award was actually for me being a mental health advocate, getting out in the pandemic with my brand. And my products and helping others. So that was also part of that award. It wasn't just all about, it was because it was everything.
We definitely need to have a second conversation. So I like to kind of round things up with some fun fashion related questions. And what better person to have that fun with than you, a fellow fashion designer. My first question would be, have you got any item of clothing that you're emotionally attached to?
Everything.
Oh, everything clothing.
Everything clothing.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Look, it's one of them, isn't it? Fashion rotates so many times. We all have our favourite key pieces. And I think as well, when you make something, a lot of love goes in. People don't realise how much work and effort goes into a garment. And sometimes you don't want to part with it.
I thought it was just me. That is my confession.
Yes.
Some of my designs, I'm like, do I really want to let this go? I just want to keep it all.
Blood, sweat, tears, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I literally want to keep it all, but I've learned to let go.
Yeah.
And I just think, okay, it's going to another home.
Yes.
And it's going to be loved just as much as I loved
Yeah,
it. So I let it go with love now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
but I can relate
stunning.
because I want to hold on to everything.
Yeah. I love this design, what you've made here today. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look amazing.
It's a green day.
We're grounded today.
Yeah. Have you got anything that you would consider that I would consider unusual or weird that you have in your handbag? What's in your handbag?
What's in my handbag? My handbag's over there, but I've got a Bible in it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
That's a good accessory to have.
Yeah, I've got my Bible in there. I've got two. One from Ryan, my mate, who he's a staunch Catholic, and he gave it to me, prayed for me, and he's wrote a nice passage in there because I've been going through some tough times.
Oh, that's beautiful.
One from my brother. I never go anywhere. My brother Nicky. Yeah, I've got his as well. He passed away. He was beautiful soul. So I've got that, and then I've got safety pins, which I carry everywhere.
Oh, so do all the designers walk around with safety pins or something?
Yeah, because when you're in the shower or something, you always get caught. You can get caught short with fittings, and maybe a button pops off. So now I just they're with me everywhere. I've always got a big bunch of safety pins and a tape measure.
Oh, right. Oh, lovely.
And my health products as well.
Oh, so you are a bag lady like me then.
Yeah.
Do you like shopping for anything in particular? Do you have any favorite brands?
My brands and your brands.
I love that. I was somewhat expecting you to say your own brand. If you didn't, I'd have been worried.
No, I think that, I love shopping, but I've got bipolar, so I have to be careful.
With the shopping?
With the shopping, yeah.
Do it in moderation?
Nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you hate shopping for?
I don't.
Okay. So
I just I've got bipolar, I've got to be careful. Grocery shopping's boring, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'm grateful that we're able to have gorgeous shops and food. So
Okay, last but not least, have you got any fashion-related questions for me? I'm not sure what you're going to ask me because you're a designer yourself.
I have. Talking about identity, I recently was sent by my son a list.
Yeah.
He's done like a DNA test, and it showed where the countries that we're from, and where it says exploring his identity. So it come back that Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Scandinavian, English, North and Western European, Iberian, Nigerian and West African.
Oh, nice.
Right. So you done an amazing project in Liverpool where you had to dress all the old statues in Liverpool of like Queen Victoria and all the prominent people. Now, we're talking about, race and basically, they were all involved in the slave trade, and Liverpool was built on money from the slave trade. So I always wonder, when you were designing and making the collars for them, you used some African fabrics, and it really inspired me. I love to see it, it brought, and I just wondered if, you were honouring the ancestors.
Do you know what?
In the fabrics that you chose.
That is really, really an interesting question, because I remember my first instinct when I got involved with that, it was for the Sky Arts documentary, As Statues Redressed. I thought to myself, wow, who am I going to offend by putting African prints on these explorers that are linked to slave trade? So that was my initial thought. And then I thought, you know what? Let me celebrate those people and those voices, those unheard voices. So I intentionally put the African print that was linked to the areas that they exploited.
Wow.
So there was Henry the Navigator, who was known to have exploited West Africa. So I put a print that was linked to West Africa round his neck. And if I tell you, like the day that we were actually filming from Norway, it was, a clear day, and from Norway, it just started to rain. And the raindrop it was just like, I can't even describe it. I'll try and describe it. But literally, it just started raining from nowhere, and the rain literally dropped on Henry the Navigator's cheek, like he's crying. And I remember literally feeling like that moment. I had a moment of, I don't know what to call it, but it was, I almost saw a vision of him lying on his deathbed.
Wow.
And having regrets for all the things that he had done.
Yes.
And I still have the photo, and you can see that the little drop of water that looked like a tear.
That's
on
a
his,
beautiful moment.
So
yeah,
that was quite a moment. So in that moment, I really did feel like I was honoring all the people that had their untold stories that went before me. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that.
Amazing. You've done amazing so well. I'd love to see that picture.
Oh,
I want
I'll
a copy.
Definitely
I want a
show
copy
you.
Of that.
We've come to the end of our episode. Thank you so much, Dionne. I'd love to bring you back and speak more about your work with the wellness and everything else. This is the end of our conversation on Explore Your Identity. I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to all our listeners and our viewers. If you found value out of this conversation, if you got something out of it, please share it with others. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have a little look there, you'll find other episodes of different identity conversations. And I just want to say thank you again to my guests. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, listeners. Keep exploring your identity. Till next time. Explore your identity with Tayameaca.